here's Brody Brazil.
We are right now right in the middle of an absolute bonkers time period for the National Hockey League. I mean, think about it. Back on Monday night, Game 7 to decide the Stanley Cup Final. What a crazy series and crazy finish, a 2-1 final score. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. And yeah, I still feel so bad for the Edmonton Oilers to come all that way back and not get anything really in the end. Then later on, Monday night, news from the desert as the Arizona Coyotes are officially being abandoned by their now, former owner, Alex Murillo. So that's a huge headline to go along with the Stanley Cup Final. Then on Wednesday, Fanatics finally reveals their brand new NHL jerseys that are set to debut this upcoming season. Hopefully a lot of fans are satisfied with what they saw from Fanatics. I know that was highly anticipated. Now we've got the NHL Draft to look forward to Friday and Saturday from the Sphere in Las Vegas. And then early next week on July 1st, the free agency period opens up in the NHL. It's an absolute frenzy, as you would always expect on, Canada Day, July 1st. But this video is all about the draft, presented by Upper Deck. It's a little draft primer for 2024 and what we're about to witness for the very first time at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And what a spectacle this is most likely to be. I'll be there. I'll come back here on the YouTube channel and tell you all about it afterwards. But this draft is the 16th NHL event in Las Vegas. And when I say event, I'm talking about big things like the 2018 and 2023 Stanley Cup Finals, or the 2022 All-Star Game that was held at T-Mobile Arena, or the 11 different NHL Awards ceremonies at the end of seasons that the league always puts on. Those are always classy. And how about let's never forget the 1991 original outdoor game at the parking lot of Caesars Palace between the Rangers and the Los Angeles Kings. I've seen the old footage of that. I kind of remember it happening. The ice was terrible. This was way before the NHL was doing annual outdoor games, and obviously way before there was ever a team in Las Vegas, but they pulled it off. It was kind of the NHL's first splash in Las Vegas. Now they've got a team there. Now they're doing the draft there. The San Jose Sharks get the number 1 pick for their very first time in franchise history, which is crazy to think. They were once an expansion team. And in 1991, they didn't get to pick first. They got to pick second, and just the way things played out. But they've selected twice, 3 different times in franchise history, 91, 96, and 97. And for as much as everybody remembers Pat Falloon as their first ever pick, Patrick Marleau became Mr. Shark after being drafted right behind Joe Thornton in 1997. Obviously a franchise player. The Sharks have also selected third 2 different occasions. They got Brad Stewart in 98. They got Mike Rathje in 1992. And they've selected fourth just once. That was last year when they chose Will Smith, who, by the way, recently just signed with the San Jose franchise. So just goes to show you how rarely they've ever even had a pick 1 through 4. And they've never had a number 1 overall pick, but that's what they're about to have. And we'll dive into Macklin Celebrini here in just a second. The Chicago Blackhawks, they'll select second. It'll mark the first time the Blackhawks have had selected among the top 3 picks in consecutive years since drafting Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Toews went 3rd overall in 2006, and of course Patrick Kane was the number 1 pick in 2007. Toews and Kane obviously went on to capture 3 Stanley Cups and win multiple individual awards with the franchise, and you know that's what Chicago fans have to be thinking about now. They've already got Bedard. So whether it's a Batman and Robin combination or however you want to look at a tandem of players, and what's crazy is it was literally the year that the Hawks didn't have Kane and Toews that all of a sudden Bedard is the perfect timing to come right in. So they never had a gap of a real exciting, attractive player or tandem of players. They've kind of gone from one generation straight to the next with Bedard and probably whoever they're going to get with this number 2 overall pick. Anaheim gets to pick third. Anaheim owns a top 3 pick in consecutive years for their very first time in franchise history. They chose Leo Carlsson as depicted their 2nd overall in last year's draft. And it's kind of the same top 4 or 5 teams as last year, just in a little bit of a different order. Last year it was the Sharks at number 4. This year it's the Columbus Blue Jackets. They own a selection within the first 5 picks in consecutive drafts for just the 2nd time in franchise history. And the last time that happened, part of their tandem of picks was Rick Nash, number 1 overall back in 2002, and Nikolai Zherdev in 2003, number 4 overall. So you can kind of understand that teams are reflecting on their prior opportunities and how did these high draft picks benefit the teams and franchises in years past. It's kind of an interesting way to look at it here and now, to say, well, if a team had 2 high draft picks and they got those 2 players and they benefited from them over the years, what will these 2 years or 3 years be like of high draft picks? And when will the payoff be for these respective teams? Montreal gets to pick number 5 overall. This is the same spot for them as last year. Montreal has had success in the 5th slot where they selected the all-time franchise wins leader. That's right, they got Carey Price, 5th overall back in 2005. Price went on to win the Hart Trophy in 2014-15, the Vezina in that same year, the Ted Lindsay Award that year, the Jennings Trophy that year, and the Masterton Trophy in 21-22. Certainly, again, history brings good thoughts, good memories about drafting one of the gold standards of goaltending in a guy like Carey Price. So we'll see who the Habs pick with their number 5 selection again this year. But all these high picks, year after year, it's definitely going to catapult these franchises in an upward direction. 3 straight years with a top 5 pick. Speaking of Montreal, they're the first team to make a top 5 selection in 3 straight years since the Edmonton Oilers selected Leon Draisaitl 3rd in 2015, Connor McDavid 1st in 2016, and Jesse Puljujarvi number 4 overall in 2017 in consecutive drafts, 15, 16, and 17. And look at the Oilers now, right? Realize that some of the names and faces have changed, and a lot of them have changed behind the bench and in the front office, but they just got to the Stanley Cup Final, arguably have the best player in the world, and they're bound to compete for a cup and win one probably sooner than later. So that brings me to the number 1 overall pick. There's no question the Sharks are going to take Macklin Celebrini. As a 17-year-old freshman last year, he was the youngest player in NCAA hockey, 32 goals, 64 points in 38 games. He would be only the second ever NCAA forward selected number 1 in the NHL Draft. He obviously won the Hobey Baker Award in 2024, but he was also the Hockey East Player of the Year and Hockey East Rookie of the Year. Macklin just turned 18 years old. About 2 weeks ago, back on June 13th. So just turned 18 and in Las Vegas. Wait, that age doesn't match up. Usually 21 is the Vegas age. Sorry, I'm an old man. I'm forgetting. But just goes to show you everything that you're about to witness with Macklin Celebrini and the interviews and the maturity that's expected of him. He just turned 18 years old. So consider that as you watch him operate, you watch him maneuver, that it's pretty impressive how mature already and developed he is already as a young man at 18 years old. His brother Aiden actually was drafted last year by the Vancouver Canucks in the 6th round, so you'd have to think that the Celebrini family has at least a little familiarity with the draft and the process and feeling pretty good about having siblings now in professional hockey. Celebrini joined Adam Fantilli, Jack Eichel, and Paul Kariya as the 4th freshman to win the Hobey Baker Memorial Award given to the top NCAA men's ice hockey player. I like the photo shoot there, Macklin. Sit on some stairs. That'll look good. We'll light you. We'll make it look real fancy. So can't wait to see him with a real Sharks jersey on for the very first time. In terms of NCAA prospects, obviously Celebrini from Boston University, the forward, is the number 1 ranked North American skater by Central Scouting. Artem Levshinov is from Michigan State. He's a defenseman. He's the number 2 ranked North American skater. And last but not least, I'll put Zeev Buium's name here on the screen for you, but I also need to throw out the pronunciation because when you see it, you're probably going to say, how do you say that out loud? Yeah, I'm just practicing it too. But the D-man from the University of Denver is the number 4 ranked North American skater. So that's crazy. 1, 2, and 4 ranked North American skaters all come from college hockey. The note on the bottom of your screen here, only 2 NHL drafts in which 3 U.S. collegiate players were selected among the top 10 picks, 2015 and 21. And certainly just on their North American skater rankings, it's possible that all 3 of these college hockey players could be selected in the top 10. So it's nice to see that the trend is happening where college hockey players are making up a lot of the top 10. In this case, 3 has only happened twice before. I guess it's likely to happen here in 2024. There's also some familiar family names like Tij Iginla of the Kelowna Rockets, the number 9 North American ranked skater, son of Jerome Iginla, no surprise. Atos Koivu from TPS's junior team, he's the number 27th ranked international skater, son of Saku Koivu. Lucas Fisher of the Sarnia Sting, number 45 ranked North American skater, son of Yuri Fisher. And Miroslav Shatan from Bratislava's junior team, he's the number 51 ranked international skater, the son of also named Miroslav Shatan. So some family lineage, no surprise. Familiar names which you might see at some point early in this 2024 draft. It's also good to see the NHL going just a little bit global here with this expected 2024 draft and the selections that might happen. Michael Brandsig Nygaard from Oslo, Norway is the number 5 ranked international skater. He can become the first Norwegian-born player selected in the first round of an NHL draft. Then there's Harrison Brunnick of the WHL's Kamloops Blazers. He's the number 52 ranked North American skater, was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. He can become the first South African-born skater selected in any NHL draft. Kevin He is from Beijing, China. He is the number 78 ranked North American skater and, of course, a forward for the OHL's Niagara Ice Dogs. He can join Andong Song from Beijing, China, as the second player born in China selected in an NHL draft. And then there's Jaromir Perez-Lisa of Barcelona, Spain, the number 78 ranked international skater, can become the first player born in Spain to be selected in an NHL draft. So you've got some familiar names, you've got some players from around the globe, unique places, an obvious number 1 pick, and a lot of teams at the very top who are trying to rebuild their franchise. They've had rough years, they want to build through the draft. There's some exceptional talent here in 2024, and we'll see how it all shakes out and what I expect to be a very impressive display outside and inside the Sphere at Las Vegas. They really want to make this mark with hosting the draft at the Sphere. It could be, I say, the last ever in-person draft where all the teams and their GMs show up to one central location. Rumor is that in the future with NHL drafts, they may not do it this way anymore. So maybe they'll be trying to go out with a certain spectacle, a certain bang at the Sphere in Las Vegas for the very first time. You made it here to the end of this video. You know, I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll greatly help me, this video, and this channel. And by the way, if you've never seen me or any of this before, welcome to the channel. Glad you found me. I'd love to get you back here again. So do me a favor, go down there and hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here next time.